Hello everyone and welcome to YouTube Tuesday with me, Jessica Brigden of JessBCreativeCardiology. Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday to you. It is summertime and today I have got some super fun summer beach cards using Stampin' Up's Seaside Wishes bundle. And this bundle packs a little bit of a surprise because it's not just a stamp set and dies, but it's got a bonus. This one has a 3D hybrid embossing folder, and I'm going to show you all about what that is. So we can both emboss and die cut, if you wish, at the same time. It's really, really cool. It's a great feature. So I'm really excited to share that with you. And let's get stamping. All right, we'll go ahead and flip the camera. As you can tell, we are going to be using some of my favorite colors. We've got some Summer Splash and some Pretty Peacock. And then I thought I'd also go kind of sandy colors. So we'll be using the new Basic Beige with some pecan pie as well. Hi Terry, hello, hello. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy these fun summer cards. And if this Seaside Wishes bundle wasn't on your radar before, you're definitely going to want to add it to your list now. And it's an extra 10% off this month, which is pretty exciting. Bundles are already 10% off when you purchase the stamps and dies together. However, during the month of June, Stampin' Up! Is giving an extra 10%, which is an even greater savings. And that applies to this bundle as well. So you get the stamps and the dies and the hybrid embossing folder all in one. Really awesome. All right, let me flip the camera here. Hello, hello. Hello to my hubby David. All right, so we've got just 5 days left of June. I cannot believe how quickly this month has gone. Hi, Sandy. It is absolutely gorgeous here today, too. I'm loving it. There's a nice breeze. It's not too hot. The sun is shining. Definitely need to get out there and get a walk in here after I do my video. So, like I said, 5 days left of June. My host code here, P9CRJVSG. All right, and I'm using the Seaside Wishes bundle. You can find this on page 73. Let me turn my light on here. There we go. Let there be light. Page 73 of your Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. And this is super fun. So let's go ahead and start with my favorite blue-green summer colors, our Summer Splash to be exact. All right, so our first card is going to use a half sheet of the Summer Splash cardstock. And let me see, I tidied up my craft area before we went out of town for the weekend. And you know how that goes when you actually clean things up, then you can never find anything again. So there we go. Get my tools out here. So this is just a half sheet, 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm folding there at 4 1/4. And then we've got our basic white. I remember to cut this for the inside. Oh, get my tape runner going. This is just 4 by 5 1/4. And we'll tuck that inside our card so that when we are ready to write it out and send it, we'll be all set and ready to go. Okay, so we are going to be using, I thought I would do a fun little color combination. So we've got Summer Splash. Keep on, I'm using Seaside Wishes, but our stamp here is Summer Splash. And I'm pairing that with Pretty Peacock. Love this monochromatic color combination. Perfect for summertime. And so what we are going to be doing, this Pretty Peacock is going to just be our next layer. That's 4 by 5 1/4. I'm not going to glue it down yet because I thought I might add a little bit of ribbon when we get this all said and done. So we're going to be working with this piece of Summer Splash that is 3 3/4 by 5. And this is where this awesome bundle comes in. So we've got a great stamp set here. We've got sand dollars and starfish, and we've got like some seaside beach rocks, stones, pebbles, whatever you want to call them. Great sentiments. Dies that both cut out the stamps, some little seagrass, some nice little like detailed pieces, but then this embossing folder is the star of the show. So this is a 3D folder, which means it's one of the thick folders, but this is also a hybrid folder in that you can cut and emboss. So what that means is that the dies here fit right into place, all right? They'll lock right into place with the embossing folder. So you can cut and emboss at the same time if you wish. So that's what makes it a hybrid folder, is that it's a 2-in-1, which is really cool. To start off, I think we'll just do some embossing so I can show you how that works. But I'm gonna do a little bit of a ink pad technique so that we can have two-tone. I'm going to highlight the embossing folder without using the stamps for this first part. So I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock ink pad, lock that into place here. All right, so when it comes to using this embossing folder with this technique, you want to make sure that you're applying ink to the top, okay? So that's going to be the embossing folder. The top part has the Stampin' Up! Logo on it. So you're going to open this and apply your ink to the inside of the top, okay? Does that make sense? If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please leave me a comment. Hi, Nessa. Hello, hello. And if you've tried this technique, let me know what you think, because it's so much fun. I love it. So we're going to take our ink pad, and we are going to, again, we're on the inside of the top, and we are going to just gently drag our ink pad across the embossing folder. See how the ink, can you see that? Let me add a little piece of white to the back. Okay, can you see that better? Where the ink is applying to the raised portion of the embossing folder. Okay, so that's really cool. I want to make sure my ink, this ink pad is not quite as fluffy. This is one of my older ink pads. All right, so, and don't worry if you end up with ink, you know, on other parts here too, because this, by applying it to the raised edges here, what it's going to do is add that contrasting, that dark ink color to the embossed or the dented portions here of our paper. So now that we've got that all inked up, all right, I'm going to make sure that we apply our paper. We want to center that here on the embossing folder. We're going to go ahead and just close the lid, okay? So I'm going to flip it over so you can actually see kind of what it's going to turn out with. Isn't that so cool? So it's a really neat way. Oh, and Nessa has a great tip too. She says she sometimes inks both the inside parts of the embossing folder, and then she can choose whether she likes this side or whether she likes, you know, if she wants the raised embossing or the debossed image. So, hey, that's a great tip. Good way to check that out. So because this is a full-size embossing folder, you're definitely going to want to use your full-size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I love that Stampin' Up! Put both the full-size machine as well as the mini machine as well as baby blue. All right, you have, for the mini machines, you have you have a choice of colors between white or boho blue. So I affectionately call it baby blue. All right, so you can get those machines at 10% off this month as well. Now, when it comes to using the hybrid folders on the base, let me see, turn this so you can read it. This is base, the thick base, okay? This is number 1, and it does give you, down here, it gives you a couple of options. When you're using the 3D embossing folders, you just want your base, and you're going to want the gray plate, which is number 4. And the nice thing about this is when you purchase a cut and emboss machine from Stampin' Up, it comes with all of the plates. It comes with everything that you need to make it work. Okay, so we've got our base, our embossing folder with our paper, and then gray plate on top. This sandwich is the same for all 3D embossing, all of the thick embossing folders, okay? Hi, Karen. Hello, hello. Hope you're having a great lunch break and sneaking out early. Enjoy. All right, so we're gonna run this through the cotton emboss machine. I have it just off to the side here so that it doesn't make a mess all over everything. Okay, so check this out. How cool is that? So now we've got not just our Summer Splash cardstock, but we have these really cool, pretty peacock outlines for both the sand dollars and the little bubbles from the ocean water there. Okay, so put this over here on my machine. All right, so we're good with that. We're gonna keep these cards fairly simple, okay? Letting the embossing do the work here. Okay, so we're gonna mount these two pieces together. All right, oh, I got a little snag there on my paper. Okay. All right, there we go. So I think what we might do, I just had to decide if I want this landscape here or portrait. Actually, let's go portrait this way. And I'm gonna add a little bit of my Summer Splash ribbon. I'm gonna go right across this smaller sand dollar here, so in the lower third of my card. Okay, just cut that. I'm gonna grab my shears. All right, cut that a little bit wider than your cardstock. And then we'll tape the ends to the back. Okay, place that right across the card here. Ends taped to the back, okay? And we're gonna mount that on the front. All right, so it's taking shape. Got fun, and can you see the texture on that? It's so cool. But it's enhanced by adding a little bit of ink there, which is really neat. Okay, so what we need now, we need a place for our sentiment. So what I've done is if we take a little bit of basic white, and I'm going to rebuild my sandwich here. I'm gonna set plate number 4 aside and bring out base number 1, my die cutting extra layer here, number 2. Okay, plate number 3. All right, here's my basic white, and this is what you can do. If you want just one of these little sand dollar edges without without doing all the other steps, you just want, what I want is a little sentiment label. So I'm gonna want the smallest one here. So I'm going to place my die onto just a smaller piece of basic white cardstock here so that it die cuts just this portion, okay? And then I'm going to use my second plate number 3, put that all together, okay? And look how well worn my plates are. All right, that means they're well loved, well used, your plates as you use them. Of course, when they come in your cotton emboss machine, they're all so pristine. But then you'll get a little, did you hear that? A little snap, crackle, pop, okay? All right, and then, oh, that was like a hornet that just flew through here. I've got the windows all open and the door open so Miss Ziggy can run in and out because it's such a nice day. Letting all kinds of critters in here. All right, so we've got just our single sand dollar here, the little small one. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do, I want to give you a little two-tone so you can see what the stamping looks like too. So I'm gonna take the smaller sand dollar that coordinates with that. This time I'm going to come in with my Summer Splash ink. And then I want a scrap paper too, a little bit of scrap, okay? Because I'm gonna stamp off first. So first you ink up your stamp, full strength, okay? You can see all the little bubbles. This is a brand new ink pad. It's super juicy, but I don't want it so dark because I want to stamp my sentiment on here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just stamp this off onto a second piece. See how dark that was? All right, so now I'm gonna take, you can still see I've got some ink residue on here. This is the awesome thing about photopolymer. You can see exactly where you're going. And I'm going to re-stamp that right onto that piece I die cut. How cool is that? It's nice, it's soft, it's subtle. I can still see the sand dollar image on there, but it's not quite as overpowering, okay? You can see the real difference here. This was at full strength, super inky, and this was stamped off, okay? All right, so now I can come in with my Pretty Peacock ink. Oh, wow, Karen, you had a 45-degree high last week and then 100 on Saturday. Oh my goodness. We had a 5-day stretch of 90, like 93, 94, 95, 96. It was so hot here last week, and really all through the weekend we had some incredible thunderstorms that popped up. And actually, while we were out of town at our convention, we got a call from my parents Saturday evening to let us know that they had, I guess the weather department decided it was a microburst, which had straight winds gusting up to, I think what they say it was like, I don't know, it was super high wind, like 65, 70 miles an hour or something. But they had, my dad sent me a picture of the palm of his hand. They had silver dollar size hail. Crazy. So of course, like all my hostas are shredded, you know, my plants out around the house. Thankfully, my baskets of geraniums that I had all over the porch and around the pool, those managed to survive. It's really crazy. So we really didn't experience any damage. A lot of limbs, you know, small limbs, leaves, so just like a lot of debris all over the yard. But really, we had no issue whatsoever. But just like a half a mile from here, there's trees down. We had some friends that live, you know, 5-10 minute drive, so just a few miles away, and they had trees come down all over their yard, and even took out landed on their shed, and one, unfortunately, a tree landed on their vehicle. So they had a lot of damage, but yeah, it was really crazy. It said, the news said it was like a 7-mile wide stretch, and it just traveled across the county. It was crazy. All right, so I just stamped that full strength in the Pretty Peacock, and now you can see how pretty that is because I stamped off before I did the sand dollar, and that way the Pretty Peacock ink shows up really nicely here for our sentiment. Yes. Oh, Karen says a few years ago microburst took out their fence. Yeah, I got a new fence out of it. Yeah, I mean, it's nice nice when insurance comes through, but you hope you don't ever have to go through that. Definitely scary. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals here on the back of my sand dollar here. All right, I'm going to place that over top. It just kind of gives it perfect placement there. Let's come over just a little bit. Okay, then I can add a little knot of ribbon through here. Yes, thankfully, even those that sustained a little damage around their homes, thankfully nobody was hurt. That's the important thing. All right, so we'll trim off our ribbon. We can kind of maneuver it here a little bit. Isn't that so pretty? Now, we could leave it just like that, and maybe we will, but I want to show you all about this fabulous bundle. So we've got these detailed stamps in here too. Look how nicely these all fit together here. But we have these little detailed pieces. So I've got just a scrap of Pretty Peacock. This is about 2 inches wide. Okay, so I'm gonna come back in here with my plates, okay? Base, number 2, number 3. Put my Pretty Peacock cardstock on here. And then we can take these detailed pieces, place them on there as well. Put second number 3 on top. Okay, we're gonna do Snap, Crackle, Pop again. Okay, and then once we die cut them, all right, oops, I wiggled, so let me make sure my dies line up where I wanted them to. Okay, here we go. A little Snap, Crackle, Pop. Okay. Now these are quite detailed, so it is good to crank through your machine and then reverse and come back through, because you want to make sure that they do die cut all the way. Okay, see how detailed those are, which is really nice. So we're gonna pop those out. You can use your die brush tip, whatever you've got there, and then this is what we end up with. Aren't these cool? Oh, I got some ink on my hands. Nothing new there. Let me see. Oh, good to keep like some little handy wipes or something nearby. All right, so if we want, we could add, I don't know, do we want to add extra detail or just leave it as it is? Maybe. I kind of like that there. I've got, let me see, I might have some more scrap, and we've got these little like seagrass pieces. We've got 3 of them in here. So let's see. Oh yeah, I've got some extra little scrap cardstock around. Let's die cut a couple little pieces of seagrass. I'm gonna go with 2, just 2 small pieces. All right. I cut those real quick, and then, okay, here we go. Oops, they overlap just a little bit. Okay, so what we'll do, my die slid. We're gonna put that part behind so nobody will even see it. And then just pop this one out. So we got 2 little pieces. Put those back in your stamp case so you don't lose them. Okay, I'll take these, and then let's use, I've got some glue dots here somewhere. There we go, hiding under my pile because I actually picked things up. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to apply a glue dot to the center of our little sand dollar or piece of coral, whatever you want to call it here. Okay, let's just tuck this under here. Okay, and then we'll take a glue dot, and you know what, I'm gonna just trim that piece. We're gonna just yank it right off. A little piece right there. All right, just kind of tuck it under, and then let's do one more. Let's see which way I want to go. Actually, it really doesn't matter because they're pretty much the same. So we'll add one to the bottom here, and just tuck this down in here. All right, so we got little sprigs, a little under the sea vibe going on. And then I thought to decorate this, we would use our In Color, the 2024 to 2026 In Color Shimmer Gems. So I'm going to use the Summer Splash ones. Of course, aren't they pretty? Ooh, love these, so pretty. Okay, so let's just add a couple. Oh, let's put a big one. put that right over here. That's a good way to hide your glue dot, okay? And then we'll take a third. And let's put it right up here. Okay, so we got rule of thirds going on, keeping it simple, really pretty, but how stunning is that? So you have this amazingly detailed card, and yet, you know, isn't the sentiment great? Sometimes the simplest things mean the most. And I love it. I love the beach. That's our happy place, is find us a beach somewhere. We're good. On occasion, when we're down in Myrtle Beach, occasionally we'll see sand dollars wash up. Usually they're just like little broken pieces, but occasionally we'll find a whole one. But yeah, so I love that. So we have our super fun summer beach Seaside Wishes card here in Summer Splash. All right, what do you guys think? Isn't that so pretty? So to give you another idea of what this might look like if you were to change up the colors. Okay, so I thought the other fun will kind of go with a more traditional sandy beach combination. I've got a few options for ribbon here. All right, so this time I'm going to pull in, let's move. Somehow as I get creating, my workspace shrinks. Does that happen to you? All right, so we're going to use a combination of the new Basic Beige. All right, that's just a great neutral here. Half sheet of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, score at 4 1/4. All right, again, a little layer of basic white for the inside. All right, what did I do with my tape runner? There we go. I told you my space shrinks. Okay. Add this in here. And you can always stamp and decorate the inside too. That's lots of fun. But for today's video, we're concentrating on our embossing here. So I've combined this, our Basic Beige, with Pecan Pie. I love just how warm of a color this is. It's really pretty. So again, let's just do the same card, right? Keep things simple. So I'm not gonna glue that layer down quite yet because we are going to emboss our Basic Beige at 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so we're gonna, again, swap out our plates here. So we've got base number 1. And then with our embossing folder, so because I've inked this one up, what I'm gonna do is quickly take it to the sink, just rinse it out with some tap water, and then blot it dry with a paper towel, okay? So I'll be right back quickly here. All right, just to give it a quick rinse. All right, that works well because our ink pads, our classic ink pads here, they are a water-based dye ink, which means they will rinse off real quick with just a little bit of water there, okay? So just wipe up any of that excess ink, okay? Make sure you clean the whole folder in case some of your ink transferred, but then we're good to go. Okay, so this time I'm gonna do the same thing because we are using the Basic Beige there. I thought I would go a little tone because that way it shows up a little bit more. So I'm gonna use Pecan Pie for that. Again, if you're just joining us, the important thing here, if you want this look, okay, where it outlines the embossed part, you're going to make sure you're using the top of the embossing folder here, the part with the Stampin' Up! Label. Okay, you're gonna apply your ink to the inside of the top there. Okay, so grab your ink pad and gently, you can see how it's juicier, again, because these are newer ink pads, and my pretty peacock is a little bit older and needs to be re-inked. But you're just pulling that across, and it's okay. You could see I've got ink other places, but that's okay. All right, go ahead and you can always use that line that goes across the top there too as a way to line things up, okay? So just center that in your embossing folder, close the top. All right, I am flipping it over just so I can show you guys what it looks like, okay? And then, because we're using our 3D embossing folder, you wanna use plate number 4, okay? Run this through your Stampin' Cotton Emboss machine. All right, how cool is that? All right, really neat. Again, I'm just gonna set this aside because that way I can take it to the sink, okay? All right, so I thought I would show you guys too, if you wanna add a little bit of extra color to this, I am using a new sponge dauber. All right, these come, I think they're in like a 5-pack. Love it. And you can rinse them out a little bit too, but a lot of people just designate one per color. Like I have one for greens or one for reds or purples. So we'll have one for basic beige because that's a light brown color. Okay. Or you could also, you could do something similar with Versamark, which is just a watermark ink. It's just not gonna be as saturated. So I'm inking up my dauber. All right, you can see I had a pristine dauber. Now I've got some basic beige on there, and gently, okay? You don't, for example, if you just press it down, you're gonna end up with a circle, okay? You don't want that. So what we're gonna do is just lightly rub this around the top of that embossed area. Isn't that cool how it highlights? Okay, I am going at a circular motion. All right, I'm not dabbing here, I'm daubing. I'm moving it as I go, just lightly. I am using the finger daubers for this as opposed to my blending brushes because you do have more control, more concentrated area here. Whereas with the blending brushes, I would end up with ink outside of the sand dollar, okay? Now this basic beige is kind of the chameleon color. It's like a light tan, a little bit lighter than Sahara sand, but yet when you apply the ink, it almost has a greenish hue to it, but then it dries. So it's really kind of cool. It kind of picks up the colors around it, right? So that's why it's such a great neutral, because you can mix and match it with all kinds of, pair it with different colors, and it goes with so many. All right, so it's kind of the color that works with everything. All right, so now that we've got that, we've got this embossed, we've got it colored, mount it here to our layer of pecan pie. All right, now you guys can help me. I've got some ribbon options here. So I have basic beige, okay? But I also have the pecan pie stitched ribbon here, which is kind of cool because it's two-tone. Or I have just the pecan pie bordered ribbon. This is a little bit thicker, a little bit darker, all right? Which option should I use? Should I go with the basic beige? Number 2, the pecan stitched? Or number 3, the pecan pie bordered ribbon? What do you guys think? All right, let me know. All right, and if you're watching there, I'll take this time. Don't forget to give me that like. All right, give me the thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can find out when I do my live videos here on Tuesdays and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern. But let me know, which ribbon do you prefer? Okay, and while you are voting there, I'm going to clean the Summer Splash ink off of my block here, my sand dollar stamp. Okay, clean my stamps while I'll give you a chance to comment. All right, so that I can use my basic beige and pecan inks with these. Okay, so, all right, looks like Kathy is voting for the pecan ribbon. So I'm assuming that's the solid pecan, okay? All right, anybody else want to chime in there? All right, and so I've got these. Now, I'll spare you the steps, but so what I did, I take a scrap of basic white, and then for the sentiment label again, because these three dies are connected, but if you could take any one of them and place it over your paper, okay, to get just an individual die cut image, which is what I have done here with the smallest one, okay? And then okay, so we've got that. We've got my sand dollar clean here. Okay, so then we're going to take this ink pad, ink it up here. Again, this is brand new. I actually just took the film, the wrapper off of my basic beige. So this is super juicy. You can see it's kind of bubbly here. So we're gonna make sure we stamp that off. Okay. Onto your scrap. Save that for another project. And then what I've done is there's this distinct little, like a little foot here, I'm calling it, in the shape of the die cut. And you can see that here on your stamp as well. So if you look for the little foot, then you can line those up. Okay, so we're stamping the stamped off. There we go, onto our die cut. So real subtle here. You can see it, all right. But that's the look we want because we want to stamp our sentiment over top. Now, do you guys want to should we use the same sentiment? All right, I guess we're gonna go Kathy here with the pecan pie ribbon. Okay, so let's do that first so I can get my inks, clean up our space here a little bit. Okay, so, oops, don't mean to move my light. I've got a whole stretch of pecan ribbons. All right, so we're going to, again, place that across the front of our card. Find our shears to cut that. Okay. All right, so apply adhesive here to the back. This is pretty. This is the pecan pie bordered ribbon, which has got that really pretty like satin stitching that goes across it. Okay, tape your ends to the back there, and then you can mount this on the card front. Gorgeous. Okay, so we have a couple of other options here for sentiments. All right, I do need one that will fit on my sand dollar though, so you can even take it. Should we go with love you? What do you think? Should we go use sometimes the simplest things mean the most again, or should I go with the love you? What do you guys think? Okay, so while we are waiting there, now for this, I'll give you guys a chance to comment. We can do a little bit of die cutting. So I took the liberty of using that small die and die cutting a little piece there with some pecan pie. All right, and then we could, what I did not do, I did not die cut any of the grasses with this yet. So I think I will get plates ready. Again, this is just a 2-inch strip of pecan pie that works great for the little detailed die cut pieces, and then we can add a couple of the little seagrass pieces here as well. All right, so I'm going to put my plate on top and run these through the cut and emboss machine. So for this particular bundle, with the hybrid embossing folder, because of its width, I would recommend the full-size Stampin' Cotton Emboss machine, because otherwise it's not going to fit through, it won't fit through the mini. Whoops. But for most of the dies in the various bundles, most of them you could use either or. And I do love my mini if you've got either a smaller space, or I like to take it when I travel because it's very lightweight and it's great. Nice and portable. It doesn't take up much space and it's not very heavy, so I can pack it in my tote or my suitcase there as well. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and let's try it with the Love You. Okay, just so we can get a little variety here. And I checked this afternoon. So this bundle, this is the Seaside Wishes bundle, and you get all 3 pieces. You get the Seaside Wishes photopolymer stamp set, the Seaside dies, and the hybrid embossing folder. So you get all three items here in the bundle, which is already 10% off. And then during the sale here for the month of June, you get an additional 10% off there. So you save another, just about another $5 on the bundle price this month, which is pretty awesome. All right, so let's take our little Love You here and we'll stamp that in some pecan pie ink. All right, right there in the center, very pretty. We've got a little bit of room here. We've got this little sand speckle image, and we could use that as well, and maybe do some little sand dots on there. All right, so just a little to the left, a little to the right. Isn't that cute? Just a little extra detail on there. Okay, and then add our dimensionals to the back. Just 2 works nicely. All right, so I'm gonna line that up over top here of this 3rd one. Just move it just a little bit to the left. Okay, and then I kind of like that. So let's tuck in our little detailed die cut. Again, just apply glue dot approximately to the center here. Okay, and just tuck that under, and then a little glue dot towards the bottom of each of our seagrass pieces, and again just kind of tuck that under. Okay. So while this bundle has a lot of different elements, you can go super simple on this. Okay, it doesn't have to be crazy complicated. All right, nobody's got time for that. We want beautiful and pretty, but doable, right? Okay, so let me find my ribbon here. I have a partial piece, and then I've got like a spool that's kind of like unraveled on me. So I'm trying to use up my partial piece. All right, let me tuck this under here. And we'll just do a little knot, keep it simple. Okay. This ribbon is so pretty, it ties really nicely. But you do want to make sure your shears or your scissors are sharp, because you want a nice clean cut on the edge there. Okay. All right, so that's the other thing. You can kind of slide this over if you want it closer or further apart, right? You've got a little wiggle room there, and if you want to secure it, you don't want your ribbon to move once you've got it where you want it, take your glue dots again, and then just take the tip of your snips, or take your pick tool. All right, just a little dot there at the end, and place it right underneath the knot. Okay, that works perfectly. Just a little extra security to help hold that in place so it doesn't wiggle around or come unraveled on your card. Okay, so with this basic beige pecan combo, I thought I would pull in, these are the adhesive backed swirl dots. They are from the coffee collection, right? The Love It a Latte, Thanks a Latte collection. And I thought they would be great because they've got this fun swirls of color. They've got the pecan, they've got a little bit of petal pink, and really just this kind of vanilla beige swirl color, which I thought was quite pretty. So we just have to decide here if we want to go light or I almost think I want to go dark on these, right? How cool is that? Okay, so let's just add a few of these. These are all the same size, so you don't have to worry about which size you're going to put where. And I think I'm going to put one right up here on my sentiment layer. And then my nails are super short. I had them done. What do you guys think of this like super pearly hot pink color? There we go. Again, I like putting one on that. It's not a flower, but it just kind of highlights the center. And then we'll do our third one. Now I did all three the same. Well, that looks kind of cool down there, but I do kind of like it here too. I think let's go right up there. We'll do one more. Thank you, Nessa. I don't do my nails very often, but occasionally for a special occasion. But it is nice to have them done. I know they look nicer on videos. But then I get green ink all over my hands anyways, so you know, it doesn't last long. What do you guys think? So there we go. We have the same project here. We use the Seaside Wishes, the bundle. We use the hybrid embossing folder there. Yes, convention nails. David and I had a part on the Watchtower study, so we I wanted them to look nice. So we have our two different combinations here. We have Summer Splash with Pretty Peacock, the ultimate summer combination, and then we have more of our natural beach look here, basic beige and pecan pie. We have used some of the various stamps and the sentiments. We've used a combination of the dies here, all the different dies. All right, I do need to pop those little pieces out. Yeah, so we've got a lot of stamps on here, but it's a great fun when you can just apply a little bit of ink to your embossing folder. It just not only texturizes it, makes it stand out just a little bit, and then again we use just a sponge dauber here to accent. I really like that. I think I like that. I think, well, this way you get to see it with the extra ink or without. I was gonna say I might go back over and do it, but I do know I tried it a little bit beforehand and I ran into a little bit of an issue because the green dauber I was using apparently had some garden green on there, and then when I went to ink it up with my Summer Splash, well anyways, this is how it turned out, which is kind of a cool, it's very realistic looking, but it ended up with a little bit of a mottled color because I've got multiple shades of green here on my ink pad, so I didn't really get a true Summer Splash on there. But I mean, it really does look like an under the sea thing, which is cool. Actually, maybe what I'll show you, just one more little tip so that you can see how this all works together. Okay, like I said, the dies are the embossing folder is hybrid, so you can cut and emboss at the same time, which means, you know, you could just run this through, emboss it and die cut it, or once you got it embossed, all right, you could also, perhaps on this one, which I decided I ended up not using here today, but you could take your die, match it back over, okay, and then you can still die cut it afterwards, okay, and then you could use those sand dollars or shells here, use them on another project, and they come out really cool. I didn't line it up quite right, but how realistic looking are these? Really, really cool. You can see all the texture on there. Really, really neat. Okay, so lots of options. I hope you have fallen in love with the Seaside Wishes bundle. All right, and be sure to add it to your shopping cart here. Well, you can get it at an extra 10% off. All right, lots of fun. Happy summer to you all. I know these have a, there we go. I had a strategic way of putting them in. There we go. Always a little bit of a puzzle, but no matter how big like when you get the stamp set and then the dies come in their own little, like, their own die folder and things. But I like to store my dies with my stamps. So I always put a little magnet sheet. These are little adhesive backed magnet sheets. And then do that. And no matter how big the die set, I can usually, if you finagle it just right, you can usually get all of the dies to fit inside the stamp case, which that way you don't have to try to find two different things, right? You just know, okay, go to my stamp shelf and everything is there together. And an advantage with this too, the cases are deep enough that you can, I haven't cleaned this yet, but they are deep enough that you can actually store the coordinating embossing folder in there too. It closes just right. And then you don't have to worry about, you know, 3 different places in your craft room. Just know everything is right here in your stamp case. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little tip. Hope you enjoyed today's cards, and I look forward to stamping with you again on Friday. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye. All right, so keep going here. I can't find my little button. There we go. To end. There we go. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.